Breaking Bad wasn't just a show, it was a psychological descent into madness, a brilliant, brutal, and bone-chilling journey of a man who became the very monster he feared. But behind the Emmy-winning brilliance lies a world of darkness that fans rarely see. Today we uncover 40 dark secrets that will make you question everything about Breaking Bad. Walter White was based on a real meth kingpin. Vince Gilligan revealed Heisenberg was partially inspired by real-life meth chemist Walter White from Alabama who was arrested in 2008. His real name was Walter White and he ran a massive meth operation. The original Jesse Pinkman was supposed to die. Aaron Paul's character was meant to be killed off in season 1, but the writers were so impressed with Paul's performance they rewrote the arc. So just imagine Breaking Bad without Jesse. Giancarlo Esposito's insane level of preparation. Giancarlo, who played Gus Fring, meticulously mapped out Gus' psychology, including creating a personal backstory not in the script. He even calculated how Gus would fold towels. That's villain dedication. The pizza scene took one take. The iconic pizza on the roof scene, Bryan Cranston nailed it in one take. No CGI, no tricks, just pure skill. The crew erupted in applause. The show's real chemistry advisor made it all look real. Breaking Bad's chemistry was supervised by real scientist Dr. Donna Nelson. She made sure the meth process looked accurate, without showing anything illegal, of course. The blue meth was candy. The iconic blue meth wasn't meth, it was a blue rock candy made by the Candy Lady in Albuquerque. Aaron Paul even handed it out to fans. Skyler's actress got real-life hate mail. Anna Gunn, who played Skyler White, received violent hate mail and online abuse. Her crime was playing a morally complex female character. Bryan Cranston had a real-life run-in with a killer. Cranston once worked at a restaurant with a chef who later turned out to be a murderer. He and his brother were briefly suspects when the chef went missing. Saul Goodman was a last-minute creation. Saul wasn't in the original plan, he was added in season 2, but Bob Odenkirk's performance led to a spin-off. Better Call Saul, now hailed as one of the greatest prequels of all time. Walter's underwear was auctioned. The famous white briefs from the pilot were sold for nearly $30,000 at auction. Someone actually paid that, seriously. Bryan Cranston has the Breaking Bad tattoo. On the final day of shooting, Cranston tattooed the show's logo on his finger. It was his way of saying goodbye to Walter White forever. The crawl space scene was improvised. That maniacal laughter in the crawl space was improvised by Cranston. The director let the camera roll, and what came out was terrifying genius. The teddy bear symbolized Walter's moral decay. The pink teddy bear from season 2 wasn't just symbolic, it mirrored Walt's psychological collapse. One eye burned like his damaged soul. Walter White's cancer timeline makes a statement. Walter's cancer got better while he was doing worse morally. It's as if his physical illness was replaced by spiritual corruption. The show used a color code. Each character had a color palette. Skyler wore blue, Walter started with beige and transitioned to black. The evolution was visual. Jane's death was a turning point in the real life. Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston cried after filming Jane's death. Paul later said he had nightmares. That scene scarred them both emotionally. The show killed a character because of scheduling. Gus's enforcer, Victor, was brutally killed not just for story reasons but because of scheduling conflicts. The series final was predicted by fan theory. One Redditor predicted the entire final episode a year before it aired. Vince Gilligan later said he was both amazed and creeped out. Walter was always the villain. From episode 1, Walter's choice was selfish. Rewatching the pilot, he lies from the very beginning. The villain origin story was always in plain sight. Vince Gilligan confirmed Walter's death. Fans debated whether Walter survived the finale. Gilligan finally confirmed, yes, he's dead, no ambiguity, he paid the price. The real reason Walt never took the job at Grey Matter. Walter claims he was wronged, but deep down his ego couldn't handle being the lesser genius. He left Grey Matter because he couldn't stand not being the man. This wasn't injustice, it was pride. His cancer was the excuse, not the catalyst. He could have accepted help. Grey Matter offered him full treatment, but Walter wanted to earn his fortune, or rather build his empire. Cancer just gave him permission to unleash the monster within. He let Jane die and watched. Walter didn't just let Jane die, he stood and watched. This was his first irreversible step into darkness. No accident, no panic, just cold, calculated silence. He didn't kill Gus to protect Jesse, he wanted control. Walter sold the idea that Gus was a threat. But Gus was a threat to his power, not Jesse's life. Killing Gus was about dominance, not defense. Walter's use of family is justification, not love. He says he's doing it for his family, but every time they are at risk, he doubles down on crime. What kind of protection is that? He poisoned Brock and framed someone else. He poisoned a child, then manipulated Jesse into turning on Gus. This wasn't genius, this was evil cloaked in strategy. The true meaning behind "I'm in the empire business." That line wasn't a slip, it was a confession. Walter didn't want money or safety, he wanted to rule something, to be feared. His "I did it for me" confession was too late. We admire Walter for admitting the truth in the end, but let's not forget, he only did it once he lost everything. It wasn't brave, it was broken. His pride got Hank killed. He could have stopped everything, but Walter kept pushing. Hank died not because of fate, but because Walter couldn't stop playing God. He manipulated Jesse from day one. Walter treats Jesse like a son until he doesn't. Every time Jesse showed emotion, Walter used it. Loyalty, love, and grief, Walter turned them all into weapons. He chose meth for a reason. He could have sold everything. So why meth? Because it's pure. It reflects his obsession with perfection. His empire had to be flawless even in evil. Walter loved the power more than the money. He had more cash than he could count, but he kept going. Why? Because power was the true addiction, meth was just the product. The Heisenberg hat was a psychological armor. That black hat wasn't just a costume, it was Walter's transformation point. The moment he put it on, his morality came off. He became what he hated most. Walter despised gangsters, drug lords, and manipulators, but in the end he was all of them combined and even worse. Skylar wasn't the problem, he was. Fans love to hate Skylar, but let's be honest, she was trying to survive a man who slowly turned into a monster under her roof. He lied even when it didn't benefit him. Walter lies compulsively, not just to cover tracks, but because he couldn't stand not being in control of the narrative. His final revenge wasn't redemption. He killed Jack's gang and saved Jesse. Is it noble? Maybe, but he also ensured no one else could steal his legacy. The ricin was always meant for himself. In a twisted way, the ricin represents his endgame, silent, personal, and poetic. He carried it like a signature, one last act of control. His obsession with legacy was narcissism. Walter didn't want to be remembered as a man who provided, he wanted to be remembered as the man who dominated. Walter White was always the Heisenberg. This wasn't a transformation, it was a revelation. Heisenberg was always there, Walter just needed a reason to let him out. Breaking Bad wasn't just a show about a man turning bad, it was about a man who always had darkness inside him, waiting for a chance to emerge. Walter White is a mirror to what unchecked pride, ego, and power can become. He didn't break bad, he revealed who he truly was. If you love deep dives into the darkest layers of your favorite shows, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and let us know which secret shocked you the most.